Regardless of what the Democratic Party says, you do not have to vote Democrat. Hi, I'm Brian Flowers. I'm looking to represent the people of Mississippi's 2nd Congressional District, a spot that's been held by Benny Thompson for the last 29 years. Let me ask you something. Are you better off than you were 2 years ago? 5 years ago? How about 10 years ago? How about 20? I'm willing to bet you're not. How long do we keep repeating the same mistake over and over before you try something new? I'm Brian Flowers, and I'm here to tell you, you have a choice. Vote for the person, not for the party. I'm Brian Flowers, and I'm running for Congress in Mississippi's 2nd Congressional District. And I'm here today to ask you for your vote on November 8th. It's time to try something new. I'm Brian Flowers, and I approve this message. Our country is at a precipice. So for anybody that has doubts on whether or not they should get out and vote, this election coming up in 2022 is vital to the survival of our country. 2022, we get a chance to retake the House. And not only retake it, but completely abolish the body that has been in there for the last 2 years, completely destroying and ripping up this country. Everybody sees the gas prices. Everybody sees the price in commodities at the grocery store. Inflation is through the roof. Everybody sees the open borders, critical race theory, voter fraud, infrastructure, education, business, everything. It's a complete disaster. And it's Democratic-led Senate, House, President, the whole 9 yards. This has got to stop. We need new leadership. So I need everyone to get out to the polls on November 8th so we can vote Benny Thompson out of office. And we need somebody that has what I have, and that's the drive and determination of a U.S. veteran that doesn't stop, doesn't quit, and will fight until the very end to get the job done. I'm Brian Flowers, and you're damn right I approve this message.
You know, there's no substitute for being in charge.
The deadly shooting spree.
14-year-old DeMarcus shooting. You can see two masked gunmen walk in. Have been made in the killing of a pregnant
teenager is dead. Three more right now.
2 people found
7 people have been shot. 12-year-old Adrian gunned down. A local 6 officers found 2 men dead. 5-year-old girl was shot. Troy 13-year-old.
I'm Brian Flowers, and I approve this message. If you've been in office more than 12 years, you need to go. Bye. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm 42 years old. These politicians haven't been representing the people of District 2 for the whole of my adult life. They lose track on what's important. They lose focus on the people themselves. They learn how to make money by doing under-the-table deals and selling their votes, and they get more focused on padding their pocket instead of helping the people. And quite frankly, these career politicians need to go away. Every one of them. Republican, Democrat, Independent, I don't care. If you've been in office more than 12 years, you need to go away. And that's quite frankly the way it needs to be. We need term limits. We need to be able to have new blood come into the Congress to ensure that the people are adequately represented always. I'm Brian Flowers, and you're damn right I approve this message.
Homicide rate ranks highest in the
made in the
nation.
killing of a pregnant woman in Jackson.
3 are dead and 3 more are injured after an overnight.
People were killed in several
Right now,
locations.
2 people found shot to death in a Jackson
7 people have been shot and killed.
Capitol Police officers were
A 5-year-old girl was shot and killed.
who gunned down.
I'm Brian Flowers, and I approve this message. We need a true infrastructure plan, not a pipe dream. In the 30 years that Benny Thompson has been in office, nothing has gotten better in bridges need replacing, the roads need fixing, and it's example A. But we need to be putting forth legislation that will not break the bank. The Democrats are trying to put everything they can into this Green New Deal. All that's fine and dandy, but if it costs so much to put it in that nobody can afford to do it, you're going to bankrupt not only the people, but the government itself. I mean, we're already in enough debt as it is. What needs to happen is have each state issue a quote on how much it's going to cost their state to fix, not add to, not do all this extra fluff, but how much is it going to cost to fix our roads properly? And then we put that bill before Congress. And a lot of people in the Delta, their biggest gripe right now are the pumps. These people are getting flooded out every spring. Some farmers haven't been able to put a crop in the ground for 2 seasons in a row. That's income, that's livelihood. So when I'm elected to Congress, I will do everything in my power to get these dang pumps put in as quickly as possible to give the people their livelihoods back. No employer is going to bring their jobs to a place that just looks like poop. I'm Brian Flowers, and you're damn right I approve this message.
All right. Good evening, Mississippi. Welcome to SKPcast. I'm your host, Stephen Rosario, and this is my cousin, Kimberly Steinbrink. I was going to put it in there. We got one mic we're working with. So, man, I'm glad this is a live town hall that we're having here with Mr. Brian Flowers, running for District 2 here in Mississippi. And we are just excited to have him here in studio. We're going to get this town hall rolling with y'all's questions. As soon as y'all can get them in, that's the quickest we can get it to him and give y'all some answers, man. We're coming to crunch time. It's go time. This is 2 days left, man. That's 2 days left. It's
time to roll.
I mean, how hard have you been working for the people of Mississippi and to get your name out there to change things, man?
It's been a true blessing that the Lord has given me the energy to be able to keep going like this, to work a full-time job and run a full-time campaign and take care of a family of 5. But yeah, as far as how long I've been working there, I mean, there's some nights I've been on the phone with people 9-10 o'clock at night talking with people, and my wife and kids have already gone to bed.
Yeah.
So I'm still up 10-11 o'clock at night.
Dude, I can imagine you are, man. My wife, and I got 4 of them at the house too, man. And
you got 4 wives?
Good. Me and Kim been working for this campaign also, man. You've got a great team. I mean, we've been part of the team since the primaries and just have loved every second of it, man. You're right there, so involved, and we've just been enjoying every moment we've had of this campaign. It's our first time being involved in a campaign, and especially one that could be as historical as this one could be. And it's so important this year. Like, I know that gets said every round, every 2 years, but there is a spirit to this one that is unlike any other. Agreed. And there's an awakening that has happened unlike any other. And especially, I mean, in District 2, we're seeing, we're getting great feedback. We're getting people that are just wanting to get to know their local candidates this time. They want to know them.
Very inspiring.
And, I'm sure they know enough about Benny by now with 29, 30 years of him being there.
29 years.
So it's like
See what he does.
we're ready for these town halls to happen. You've been pushing out town halls. You had one recently at Millsaps College, going into pretty much I'd call enemy territory, you know. But
At least the other side. I was just saying.
you know, you're not. That's one reason me and Kim have backed you, because you're not afraid to go into that.
Right.
You know, it's like that. That's exactly what needs to be embraced to change anything. We don't need to have.
It's going to be way worse than anything like that. So
man.
I mean, to be able to get the practice now to going into the Lions Den per se up there in Washington. You know, I've said it on more than one occasion. Washington can chew you up, spit you out, and not think twice about it. And we need to send candidates up there that are strong-willed, have a backbone, and are ready to face the challenges. And I think that, with my military service, that gives me, that helped qualify me and give me that stature to be able to stand up and say, yeah, I'm ready to do this. Let's go. Yeah,
100%, man. I mean, that is definitely what we've had lack of up there as we've seen. And, to have you represent a part of Mississippi is just humbling to me, myself. But,
well, I'll tell you one thing. You brought it up a few minutes ago. As far as this team goes, I could not have put together a more perfect team. And to be honest with you, my campaign manager, Caroline Finch, I asked her when I first decided to throw my name in the hat again to be the campaign manager. And from that point on, it was the good Lord filling in the rest of the team.
Amen.
It wasn't me.
Yeah, man.
It was the good Lord sitting there putting people in. Hey, you need to take a look at this person. You need to look at this person. You guys came on board. It's been one God-inspired person coming into this campaign after another. So
that's great.
This campaign has truly been blessed. And that's one thing that we have, I know you guys being at the campaign meetings, and I'll let everybody outside here know, every time we've had a campaign meeting, it's always been, open up with a word of prayer. Let's open the door, ask the good Lord to come in and have a seat while we strategize and put forth our campaign strategy.
Hey,
so, I mean,
that's what I'm saying.
The good Lord has definitely been at the forefront of this campaign.
Yeah, that is good to hear, because I'm tired of the keep God out of politics. My goodness, man, that's what, if anything, we need more into politics. Man, these questions are already rolling in, my guy. And I'm sorry, Clay, forgive me. Hey, we're some rookies over here.
He's on the roll.
First time on the and also we're sharing mics, sharing headphones. So look, we've got Clay Edwards joining us, the infamous Clay Edwards, known Jackson, Mississippi, man. He is in with us today. Thank goodness. I appreciate you being here, brother.
Yeah, hey, look, man, I appreciate y'all inviting me in. I've just been kind of hanging out today. We had my sister's birthday lunch and came back home. Just been kind of hanging out. Like I said, I watched the end of the NASCAR championship. Very anticlimactic. It couldn't have had a more boring ending. I'm not a Joey Logano fan.
That's not right.
Talking about NASCAR.
That's not right.
Not a
I'm relaying the message to Brian, man.
I hear you. But hey, with all that said, when we tried to have Brian on here the other night, and apparently Benny and them sabotaged us and killed my internet feed. But I appreciate y'all inviting me on tonight, and I'll stay on, and we'll have a few
We appreciate you
questions.
coming.
Hey, look, I got a question for him. Let's just jump straight into it.
Okay.
Day one, will we get some impeachment papers drawn up on this current regime and that has taken our nation hostage?
Will we get some impeachment papers drawn up on this current regime, and will we get some?
Papers drawn up?
That's it. We just want. I guess the first question we're going to start with is when you do win and when you get in there, are you going to back impeachment papers on this regime that we have in there right now?
Okay, so I want to make sure I understand the question right. Am I going to back any impeachment papers that are drawn up against the Biden administration? Yes?
Correct.
You wear these,
yes,
man, because I want to. We just made the on-spot decision. Brian's going to wear them. I'm going to go blind.
There we go.
Yeah, that's my question. Day one. These are the questions I had the other night before our internet died. day one, will you vote or draw up the papers if nobody else does to have Biden and Kamala Harris impeached?
Okay, so and just like you and I talked about, Clay, you know, I think that my first and foremost thing that I need to get done and be working towards are what has been denied the people of District 2, and that is a better way of life. And that is what I mean, my very first order of business is to start working on getting the pumps put in, dealing with the high crime, things like that. But if somebody were to bring up impeachment papers against this administration, I would support those impeachment papers, yes.
Okay.
Okay, I think we do have our first question. You say the question.
All right. Let's see here. Okay, this comes from Susan Beard. How do you feel about foreign countries buying land here?
As far as foreign countries go, it's kind of, I don't think that they should be able to, personally. But those are definitely different real estate laws and just different aspects that the real estate agencies have that allow people that if you have the money, you can buy it. But I don't agree with them being able to purchase land here just to, like, for instance, buying up our farmlands. That just puts us more in control, them more in control of what of our farms, our food, and they end up being able to basically charge whatever they want.
All right.
Well, I got to follow. I didn't know if Clay was saying something about that, but so would you be for more like watch, just a hard watch on what they're buying? Maybe like, you know, if it is farmland and they're buying hundreds and thousands of acres, maybe some kind of limit on what they would buy, or would you be completely against any kind of foreign entity coming in and buying any acreage or anything in the land, or would you be more for somewhat of a
I would rather keep it here in the United States, having U.S. citizens own the land here. You know, if you're not a U.S. citizen, you know, and I hate to say it like this, but if you're not a U.S. citizen, you shouldn't be able to own a part of the United States. Now, if you want to come over here from a different country or something and lease the land for whatever purpose, then that's fine. But, you know, because it would be extremely difficult to put a hard watch on somebody, because you could have agents from any different, you know, country in the world could come over and do that. So to put a stop to that, you know, it would probably be a lot easier. If you're not a U.S. citizen, you cannot own that piece of land.
Nice.
But, you know, you can lease the land for whatever reason. Now, people may agree with me or not, but that'd be the easiest way to do it.
That's a great stance. That's you know, I hadn't even that question really, you know, hasn't crossed my mind. So that's one thing we love about these things right here. We're trying to hunt down the question. We're getting a lot of comments saying, "Hey, amen, we want you." A lot of support.
A lot of support.
We're gonna get some of these questions.
Hey,
and,
well, I think in the meantime, did you have a question, Clay?
I do.
Okay.
Brian, what about people like Bill Gates buying up all of the farmland? You know, I guess I'm a capitalist, so this is where things come back to bite you every now and then as a capitalist. What about somebody like that buying up all the farmland and deciding not to continue farming? How do we protect ourselves from that? Somebody deciding to buy all the farmland, just, hey, we ain't gonna farm here no more.
And that's a tough question, to be honest with you. You know, and that would be one that I would want to take back and discuss with other people. I may not be able to come up with the answer right now.
Because he's bought a lot of farmland here in Mississippi.
Exactly. But it would be something that I would want to work towards to help put a limit on what kind of, you know, if it's land that is being used for, let's say, farming, like you just brought up, how much land can you purchase? Can one person purchase? That way he can't just buy up every bit of it. But, you know, something some sort of limit. But and that's a question that it's a very good question. It's a question that needs to be addressed, and would be one that I would want to discuss with other members of Congress that are like-minded, such as myself, to help prevent that, because it's not just here in Mississippi, it's across the United States. So other people that have that same problem and that same issue or those same concerns would be able to put our heads together and come up with an adequate solution.
Yeah, because it's one thing to have zoning ordinances and stuff to keep them from changing it from farming to commercial or residential or anything like that, but you still can't just make somebody farm on land, I guess. But you don't want to, you don't want to cut off a food source. So I think that's one of the problems we're going to have moving forward is domestic food. I believe that this going to be a big issue here moving forward. And I believe it's by design. I mean, call me a conspiracy theorist if you want, but I believe population control is something the Democrats are very big on. And if you can cut out the food, you can dang sure control the population.
Right.
Just my thoughts.
All right, we do have someone, to be honest with you. I think it may be their internet connection. Sometimes it doesn't show your name. But I will ask, it's a good question. How do you plan to best serve the people in District 2 here in Mississippi? Like one of your first few things to do that's going to help specifically the constituents of Mississippi.
Well, one of the very first things I'm going to be doing is working to get with the EPA to reverse their decision so we can get these pumps put in for our farmers. That has been for decades now, an ongoing problem that they have had to deal with, and they've been asking and pleading and begging for these pumps. And, the current representative is ignoring them. And in some cases, a year ago yesterday, wrote in a letter to the EPA asking for yet another investigation. So this is going to be one of the first things I work at. Some of the other aspects that I want to do is there are two different committees in Washington that I'd like to get on, and that's the Energy Committee and the Agricultural Committee. Both are heavy in District 2. You've got Grand Gulf Nuclear Station, the only nuclear station power plant in the state of Mississippi. You've got vast agricultural lands of agriculture. It takes up a very large majority of District 2. One of the other things that I want to get done is I want to work with other members to get a handle on this high crime rate that we have. We need DAs in there that will hold people accountable. We need to quit demoralizing our police and actually fund the police and their departments so they can be able to have the tools necessary to be able to deal with the crime that each of these democratically controlled cities have. Those are just a few. You look at trying to get a proper infrastructure bill put together. Right now, the current infrastructure bill that they passed earlier this year, only 6% goes to roads and bridges. You look at Jackson. Jackson got buses. A week later or a week and a half later, their water pump failed. They need to prioritize what they actually need as far as infrastructure and go present that so they know what they're getting.
Man, thank you for these detailed answers. You're talking about committees you're going to join. You're talking about the crime. And I mean, I love these detailed answers we're getting.
Yes.
My God, we got another one here from Ren Clark. Jolly man. Jolly Ren. Can you please share with us what ideas you have to bring good, productive change in our economy in Mississippi?
Well, one of the things that, again, I'm going to be working on is being able to get the farmers going up and going with the pumps, right? I cannot stress the pumps enough. But that's going to improve their agricultural output of their crops. It will increase the amount of volume of crops that are being able to outsource from Mississippi. In addition to that, once we get also working on the infrastructure that I just mentioned, right. You're talking about roads, bridges, just basic infrastructure, being able to talk to some of these companies and work with them. We just got a new aluminum mill that just got announced that's going to be coming in. Where was Benny Thompson at when trying to fight to get that into District 2?
Probably not.
He wasn't anywhere around. Right. It's up in the Golden Triangle area. We could have put that in the 4 new counties that we have down south, down in the southern part of the district. We could have put that in a lot of different places.
Yeah.
But that's something else. Is Cleveland had 11, 12 industries before. They're down to 1 or 2 now. We need to be bringing those back into where they different industries back into where they once were, and that is where I can step in and work with these companies to sit there and talk with them and say, look, y'all come check this out. Look, what do we need to do to get you to come and set up shop here? Because once they do, that's going to be construction jobs for years, just building the industry, the building that they need. And then depending on the size of the industrial site that they have. And then once it's built, now you have an active company that's there in the community to actually put people to work.
Kind of a domino effect, man.
Exactly.
It's getting all aspects of it.
Yeah. All right.
They got the land up there. I'm telling you, to do those large type industrial businesses.
Well, I do have something to something to kind of add on to something you just brought up. What is your solution to the crime problem across the country?
Like I said, we need people up there that will actually stand up for our men and women in law enforcement. Being prior military, I put my life on the line, just the same as every other person in the military, to ensure that this country is protected from anybody that wants to do us harm from outside this country. The police are no different in my opinion. They put their lives on the line day in and day out to make sure that we are all safe. We can go home and sleep soundly, and we don't have to worry about people coming in and hurting us. But you have legislators up there in D.C. that want to pass bills to defund the police, DAs that won't hold people accountable for the different crimes that they commit. We need to get people in there that will actually hold people accountable for what they do. Put the proper sentences on them. You hear a lot about. People, they're putting too many years on for the crime that they did.
Yeah.
Appropriate sentence for the appropriate crime. Some of these murders and rapists, as far as I'm concerned, need to be, they need to be thrown in jail and key thrown away. And that's just my own personal opinion. But we need people that will hold the DAs to hold people accountable, and we actually need police officers to join the forces, because a lot of them have left because of the way they've been treated.
Yeah.
So we're going to need to have recruitment per se, and get more police officers on our streets.
Exactly.
Yeah. Hey,
okay.
Brian, we talked about this the other night over here. Unfortunately, nobody else got to hear it. What I can go on and on about January 6th and all these other things, and I feel like it's kind of like crying over spilt perfume a little bit. Not a whole lot we can do about it other than, try to get them people out of all that. But let's talk about things that affect everyday Mississippians. What about the schools here and the education system in Mississippi? Because especially through District 2 in particular, there's a lot of flaws with the public school system. What are some things that you can help do once you get elected to better that?
Well, one of the things that I want to see done, and I'm going to be working on day one, is, and I fully understand that I alone, I'm not going to be able to do this. This is going to take me building a coalition and leading that coalition. And give it back to the states. It needs to be given back to the states so they can run and give it back to the parents for them to make the decision on what's best for their children.
We talked about this a little bit too. I mean, so would you be an opponent or a proponent, for school choice?
Oh, absolutely. I think school right now, until we can get that the U.S. Department of Education dissolved like I want, school choice needs to happen more. The money needs to follow the child instead of staying with the schools, because with the military, me being from prior military, you get transfer orders mid-year, and the students have to leave. Well, that leaves the school that they're going to, they only get so much money because, based off of how many students they have. So the money needs to follow the student instead of just staying with the school at the beginning of the year.
Okay. Good stuff there, man. I agree 100%. I agree 100%. Anybody else got anything?
All right. Well, we have a question from Nicole Bailey. How are you planning to protect the First and Second Amendments?
First and Second Amendments.
That's a loaded question.
That's some good ones, though.
Well,
Thank you, Nicole.
The First Amendment, we need to basically get people out of the mind frame that if they don't like what somebody is saying, that they are going to create a violent, they're going to get violent with them just because they don't like something that they say. Because if you don't like something that somebody says, you have the option to walk away.
Amen.
Everybody is entitled, as long as it is fact-based, you are entitled to say any and everything. Really, you can say it even if it's a lie, but people are going to call you out on it.
Thank you. Okay.
But
we know it's a lie because you can call
exactly. So if you're gonna lie about something, that's probably not the smartest thing, especially with so many quote unquote fact checkers out there. But it would be best if we as American citizens could actually start acting like adults, and actually, if you disagree with somebody, not get all violent about it. And that's more for the Democratic Party. You look at what Miss Waters, Congressman Waters said. Get in their face. You tell them that they're not welcome. That's not acting like an adult. If you don't like what they have to say, you have the option to voice your opinion. Or you can just walk away. As far as the Second Amendment goes, I would do everything in my power to protect the Second Amendment. A lot of people think, it's so I can go on, buy this gun, buy that gun, own whatever weapon I want. That's not really, that's not the intent for the Second Amendment at all. It's to protect the American people from a tyrannical government. And I will not allow that to be infringed upon at all, period.
All right, so there's another one. This one is, I can't get it. This one is from Sherry Martin. Would you consider putting trade classes back in the high schools?
I think that's a good question, actually. When I was in school, in high school, we had something similar to that, and it worked out really well. Shop or auto tech, whatever. But I think that's a good way for a lot of these students to figure out where they possibly want to go. That may be on the edge of, well, I don't want to go to college, but and to extend onto that, maybe getting several more trade schools put back into the district. In addition to that, adding those to the high school so they could go on and further extend their careers and get a certificate in a trade and be able to enter the workforce.
Yeah, because the trades, they make good money too, and it seems to be forgotten. They make very good money.
Sometimes better than the ones that they're paying for all these
right. With less money to get into.
Yeah, these college grads got debt out the. You
can go a lot further with
their money's not going in their pocket; it's going to pay for their schooling.
What was that, Clay?
I said you can go a lot further with an electrical trade or parts trade or anything like that than an underwater basket weaving degree.
Yeah, plumbers are plumbers, welders. Those are highly sought after jobs. So yes, a trade, learning a trade in high school, just kind of giving them the opening that door for a lot of students, it would be tremendous. And then going furthering that and getting trade schools put up into different parts of the district, absolutely, I'd be all for that.
Yeah, and I'm guessing that's probably more of a school board deal there, and I'll be interviewing some of the school board folks running tomorrow on the show. And nice. I'm glad somebody brought that up because that's a question I'm going to ask now too. So I appreciate that question from Sherry there.
Right.
I've been a big supporter of trades, And I think we've sold this dream to way too many kids that it's 4-year university or bust, and degree or bust. And I think there's way more options now for a guy that's in the car industry myself. The direction that the shops are going, the service shops, the mechanic repair stuff, it's computerized and technical as that's getting. Transmission, the guy that can work on the transmission in the dealership now can make as much or more than the general manager of the dealership. We're talking about high 6 figures here, if they know what they're doing.
Well, see, that's the thing is, I mean, and college is extremely important. I don't want to be anybody to think that I am not for college. College is extremely important, but it's not for everyone. There are many students out there that are just not, they have no interest in going to college. I know several people have told me that, well, if I went to college, I would have done 2 things. I'd have wasted my parents' money and my time. So, it's that those are the students that we want to reach.
That's what I did.
And, I mean, those, like I said, college is a very important industry or institution rather. But again, it's not for every single person. People want to follow what their mom or their dad did. They want to be a welder. They want to be a plumber. They want to get into the family business and take it over. We need those trades as well.
Oh, yeah. So we've got another good question from Monumental. What is your position on this administration continuing to send billions into Ukraine? I like that too.
All right. So Ukraine. Let me go ahead and start off by saying, with me being in the military on my first ship, we actually got to go to Odessa, Ukraine. We were the first U.S. ship to pull into Odessa in 25 years when I pulled in.
Wow.
So I got to meet the people. We stayed for several days there, got to see all the different sites around there, got to know the locals and kind of learn a little bit about the way they live their life there. Yeah. So I have a little bit of a soft spot for the Ukrainian people. However, I think that we are sending way too much money over there. I think that that money could be better spent here at home, in the way of our porous southern border that has hundreds of thousands of illegal immigrants coming across the border. And we have all kinds of fentanyl that is coming across the border that is killing our young people. We have a lot of problems here that we need to be focusing on, and spending all these billions of dollars. We're already in a 40-year high inflation. We need to start prioritizing how much we're sending, what we're sending, and where it's going.
Yeah. Is it needed? Is so much of it needed?
Definitely.
Okay, next question. We have Glenn Bailey. Glenn, I'm sorry. Glenn Bailey, would you support an investigation into the military discharging members for not taking the vaccine?
That one is hits close to home. I remember when I was on my first ship, the anthrax shot. We were told that very same thing. You either get the shot or you're going to be dishonorably discharged.
That is my first of hearing about that.
Oh yeah, I've got all 6 of my shots and 2 boosters. So and because I was 19, 20 years old, and they're sitting there telling you that, I know. So that one kind of hits home for me, and I think that is very wrong for us to force our military to get any type of quote unquote this vaccine that they are trying to force on them right now. But wouldn't get the shot. I don't believe that they should, unless a military member is going into an active area that they could be subjected to a potentially deadly disease.
Right, a proven deadly disease.
Something like take your pick.
Was it Ebola or something like that?
Anything.
Anything.
But it needs to be looked at as far as our military service members that were kicked out, and if they need to be either let back in, compensated somehow, whatever. But something needs to be looked at.
Yeah. Hey, man. Hey, here's a quick one. Do you support voter ID?
Oh, absolutely.
Thank you, Sherry.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
You know
Need
what?
to know.
If the police officer walks up and asks you for your ID because you were speeding, is he being racist? No, he's doing his job to make sure you actually have a license to operate that vehicle. Therefore, we're making sure that you are basically have the right to vote. So there's no difference here. It's not a race thing. It is making sure that you are who you say you are, and you are allowed to be here in the city, in the state of Mississippi. So it has your name and your address on there.
I swear I've seen they show pictures of the countries that want to show their ID to go vote. They think it's a privilege to have that ID to go make their vote, to let their voice be heard, and this is who they are, to say what they stand for. So here we're knocking it here in America, where other countries want to have they are
proud to show that ID.
Yeah,
exactly.
Well, they have tricked a bunch of people into believing that.
Which one of these should
show ID?
Say what, Clay?
I'm sorry. They somehow tricked a bunch of people into saying that if you have to show an ID to vote, it's racist, which couldn't be a bigger lie. You have an ID to vote, or you don't get to vote. There's very minimal requirements to vote in this country. Basically, don't have killed anybody, and have a dang ID, and you can vote. If there's a path for felons, which I do 100% support. There's a path for felons to get their voting rights back, which I think should be more widespread, as long as they're nonviolent, and show your dang ID. That shouldn't be a question. That's not racist. That's just stupid. Sorry.
Well, we got a question from Mr. Ken McClinton. And I'm going to go ahead. This is a good one. So 5.5 million people have illegally entered our country this year. What do you think of the work of Biden and Benny Thompson, on the border, and what would you do differently?
What work? Let's go ahead and just ask the question with a question. What work? They haven't done anything. They keep, letting more and more and more people in. Again, one, we have no idea of who is coming into this country. There have been verified reports, that there have been many people that have slipped past, that they aren't exactly sure how many people have gotten through undetected or detected. So basically, being prior military, I served during 9/11. I was in Norfolk, Virginia. I don't want anything like that ever happen again. Nobody, I don't think anybody does. But when you have a porous border that is so just, you got people coming in that you can't even catch. How many of those people that just got through are part of a terrorist cell now, are in our country, and are now setting up a sleeper cell? God only knows when. Hopefully never, but could be another 9/11. And that's not fear-mongering. That is plain fact. So, I don't think Benny Thompson, being the chief of Homeland Security or chairman of Homeland Security, has done his job. In fact, I think he's been extremely derelict in duty in his job. And it goes the same way with Biden. Biden's clueless. I mean, he doesn't even know his name, let alone what's going on down there at that border.
Yeah, he has no clue.
If there is any reason to kick Benny out, I'm sorry, Homeland Security?
Right.
Really? And what we're faced with right now with the border, and this guy is sitting on the chair of Homeland Security. You don't want to know who's coming into your house? You mean exactly. You're just going to open the door to the whole block, the whole neighborhood?
But what needs to happen is we need to lock down that border now. There are ways of coming in this country. I don't want anybody to get me wrong. I am all for immigration. But there is a right way and a wrong way to come into this country, and it's through a port of entry. It's not wherever the heck you want to come in across the Rio Grande. I'm sorry. And here's the next thing is, what about all these immigrants that are coming in and they're telling them, just go on in, they'll let you on in. What happens when somebody on that border that they cross into their territory, a homeowner decides to take it out and because they're trespassing and shoot somebody?
And they don't know the law like that.
Right.
And I know this sounds mean to just an everyday Democrat wants to listen to a Republican talking point. You don't like somebody that doesn't look like you, or you're just, it sounds so like we want to keep somebody out. We want to know who's coming in. I feel you, Brian. We want the immigration. There's a reason those people are coming to this country and risking everything to get here for a lot of them.
Now, here's something else that somebody I got asked just the other day. Like, well, they try to come in. They're good people. They don't have anything wrong. For whatever reason, they couldn't get their the immigration status. They wouldn't let them in. Mm-hmm. Should we look at that? Working at Grand Gulf Nuclear Station, they put procedures in place, right? And over time, those procedures have to change. Mm-hmm. For whatever reason, and we have to do a revamp of look at the procedure, what needs to be changed, red mark it up, and then make the changes. And that may be something that we need to look at with as far as our immigration policy. Yeah. When was the last time it was updated?
Right.
What changes can we make to that are maybe outdated that we need to update for today's environment? So I mean, there's a lot of different. I mean, it's common
very
sense.
Practical. Yes, you're using your job as an example,
right?
I mean, something as practical as that.
Mm-hmm.
What you got for us, Kimbo?
All right. So next up, I got a good one.
All right.
I'm going to ask this very condescendingly. Hold on. Okay. Do you agree that wind and solar energy is the path that we need to take in order to save our planet?
No. As much as people out there want to go to green energy, wind and solar do not have the capabilities to provide the energy services that we need at this time. And that's not to say in several decades when they have improved, battery output, whatever it is, that can't happen. But right now we just can't do it. The batteries that they use are more toxic to the earth than a coal burning plant. Mm-hmm. The footprint that they leave, the carbon footprint that they leave is just huge. We need to stick with our fossil fuels. We need to. I am a very, very big proponent for nuclear power. In my opinion, nuclear power, hydroelectric, those are the ways to go. Utilize our rivers here. Put a hydroelectric dam in. Nuclear power plants. France, 80% of France's power, 80% is from nuclear power.
Just remind people of what your occupation is so they can know that you're not just stating this. Right. This is an actual.
I work in the operations department at Grand Gulf Nuclear Station. I did 10 years in the military, working down the engine room, keeping the lights on.
So energy is your forte.
That's correct.
Kind of know a thing or two.
It's that's a question right up your alley, to say so. Can't that's where that's what you do.
Well, I mean, that kind of goes back to what the two committees that I said I wanted to get involved with, energy being one of them, because that's what I've done since I got out of high school. Okay. It is just I've been in the energy field, whether it's military or commercial nuclear, take your pick. But also prior to the military, in the town that I grew up in, population was 500 people. I grew up in a small farming community. Mm-hmm. I saw what the farmers had to go through from prepping the fields, seeding the fields, tending the crop, harvesting the crop, disking it all under and going at it again. And mind you, I understand, for all the farmers out there listening to me, I understand there's a lot more to it, but just for, farmers out in their fields and saying, hey, look, let's do a walk down. Show me what you need. Mm-hmm. So, and being able to get into the agricultural committee is one of the ways that I can best help our agricultural the farmers in the agriculture.
Nice. I do have another good question from Ken McClinton. Something that some of you people would like to know what his thoughts on this is. He asked, what would you do for the HBCUs?
Okay, so anybody that doesn't know what the HBCU is, it's a historically black college and universities.
Thank you.
But basically, what I'd like to see done with them is first of all, when I get elected, is I would like to have a constituent office put inside each and every single one of our HBCUs here in District 2. Gives students full access to me, more or less.
Okay.
It also having an office there and having a student manning that office gives the student a little bit of money to help pay for college tuition or books or whatever he or she may need.
Okay.
So I mean, and being at a college, you're not hunting down where the office is. You're not looking for where, is this office here? Is it open? The college is open pretty much year round. So you'll be able to go to that facility or go to that institution and find my office and be able to let the person in there know what you need to get in touch with me about.
Yeah. Okay, man.
Specifically, Benny Thompson hasn't done anything like that. And to my knowledge, no politician has ever done anything like that.
No, that's what we like to hear.
Good idea.
Fresh ideas.
Fresh new good ideas.
That's a great one, man.
All right, let's see what else. Pick his brain just a little bit more.
Hey, Brian.
Sure.
I got a question here. This is one of the things I wanted to talk about the other night. And, it's one of the things you talk about on your website. And I'm a huge fan of this, and it's state sovereignty. If we can get back to that, I think we'll all just be better off.
I agree. And state sovereignty is very big, in my opinion. I think that the federal government has, I'm going to put, as my grandfather would say, has gotten too big for its britches. You got the Democratic Party and previous administrations, and even some of the rhinos and current establishment up there in DC that they want to put another program in place. The federal government is not meant to be as big as it is currently. I mean, in my opinion, it's crushing itself under its own weight right now. We need to return a lot of things back to the states. You look at the states have their own legislature. They have a House, they have a Senate, they have a lieutenant governor, they have a governor. They have pretty much the same setup as the federal government. And the federal government should not be here to take care of the American people in a sense that, well, we're going to give you a bunch of free stuff. No, have the states make different policies and legislature on its own, and then have the people get out and work as they need to help pay for it.
No, I like it. Where do you stand on, and this may be a little unrelated, quasi-related, where do you stand on the Convention of the States?
Convention of States, is something that is relatively new to me. I have not gotten into the Convention of States. From what I've read, it's a good thing. But I honestly have not gotten into it in depth to be able to answer where I stand on yes or no. Do I agree with it or not? But from what I've heard, it's doing good things.
Same here, but I think after the last 2 years and the way the 2020 election went down, I think a lot of us just want to see some change. But being a constitutionalist, after having some time to take a deep breath, I'm like, every state ain't Mississippi, every state ain't Texas. Who are we sending for the convention of the state to make these changes to our Constitution? I think that we're better waiting and taking a deep breath, seeing what happens, let some things take their natural course. Mm-hmm. Get through November, get through Tuesday, should I say, and then get through 2024, then hit the nuclear, because I look at the Convention of States like a nuclear option, but it is a nuclear option that's available to us. But I hope that we don't have to go there. I hope that our founding fathers did a good enough job that we don't have to make any changes.
Right. No, I agree. I think that with the new freshman congressmen and women that are going up to Congress after this upcoming election, there are enough of us that are that have stepped up because we are sick and tired of the way that things are being run up there in DC. The current establishment, regardless if it's Republican or Democrat, the current establishment is getting put on notice. The people are sick and tired. You see people that are upsetting incumbents left and right that aren't listening to the voters. All they are is about themselves. They're about padding their pocketbooks. And, basically, you have all these freshman congressmen that are going to be going up there, and they're just going to raise all kinds of hell, and they're going to turn over the apple cart, if you will.
Well, that's what we need to do. All right. Hey, guys, I got to jump out of here. I really do appreciate y'all letting me dive in.
All right. Thank you for coming,
Clay.
Clay.
Appreciate you coming on.
Yeah, absolutely. Hey, Brian, good luck. Stephen, Kim, I appreciate everything. Best of luck to y'all. I love what you're doing. And just keep pushing forward, man. Stay safe.
Appreciate it, Clay. Have a good night.
Peace.
Man, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Good man. Good man.
Yes.
Look here, we're coming.
So there's a really good question coming up next.
Yeah, let's do this one now. Sherry's get you with a good one. What has Benny Thompson really done for the districts? Being a new county to his district, should we be worried with him taking more things away from us? Not saying he's going to win.
Sherry's coming up with some good ones tonight.
Yes, he is. Thank you, Sherry.
And thank you very much, Sherry. I appreciate that. No, and what has Benny Thompson really done for the district? I have asked that question over and over and over and over, and I have yet to get an answer. In fact, I asked, we were down in Meadville at the River Festival down there, and one lady stopped, and she found out her mom was an active campaign person for Benny Thompson. Me and my entire family vote Democrat. Convinced me to vote for you. Okay. I asked one question, and that was the very first question I asked her, Sherry. What has Benny Thompson done for the district? Her response: well, I can't give you any specifics.
Wow.
So
that's telling.
That right there.
Really?
So my next comment to her was, I tell you what, I'll give you one. This is what Benny Thompson has done. He established constituents in the back, specifically November 5th, 2021, when he wrote the letter to the EPA requesting another investigation for the Yazoo pump project. Even if it didn't involve you, if he's willing to do that and stab his own constituents in the back, what happens the next time when it does involve you? So yes, to answer your next question, yes, you should be worried about Benny Thompson taking things from the rest of the district, because he's done it once with the farmers. Who says the next time it won't be with somebody else, and the next time it may be you?
I gotta know, what was the verdict? I mean, was she like, okay, I'm voting for you, or did she just keep her mouth shut and like? Nah?
She actually, the lady, it took me about 10-15 minutes of laying out my case, and she ended up actively, willingly taking a push card, taking a business card.
All right.
I handed both her children a pencil that I had, and she looked at me. She's like, "I'm going to go talk to my mom about you."
Awesome. That's a good verdict right there. That's
and
good.
See, my next thing that I told her, I was like, "Look, when you talk to your mom wasn't here to hear everything that I said. When you talk to other people, you need to take into consideration, and this goes for everybody out here listening right now, you need to vote for what's best for you. You need to vote for the person that is going, not for the party."
Yeah.
That's right. This kind of piggybacks off of that, man. We got one from Christy Whittington. How do you feel about term limits?
Well, I'm all for term limits.
Yeah.
The problem that we have right now is we have too many career politicians up there.
Right.
Benny Thompson being one of them, 29 years. You've got multiple career politicians from both parties that need to go the way of the dodo. We need to have fresh blood brought in.
Right.
Well, I mean, honestly, they need to go the way of the dodo. I mean, they need to be out of Congress. You've got too many politicians up there that are set in their ways and they're not going to change. We need new blood in there to give this country life. You look at any water source. If you have a water source that doesn't have new water coming in, it becomes stagnant and you're not able to, get anything to, out of it.
Yeah.
You need new blood in there so we can continuously get new laws passed, new ideas come in, and just be able to move forward.
Yeah. I've always thought about that. Term limits, it's like you stop becoming a public servant after a while. I mean, you can just see them, they start getting privately serving themselves, it's you're about the public when you get in there, you're all for it, and then you sit in there and you start seeing these advantages you can get, and you just see it time after time. These guys,
if you look at look at Congress, Senate has 6 years, right?
Right.
So get two terms, right? Puts them at 12 years.
Yeah.
The House
over a decade.
Exactly. Yeah. Give them two terms in the Senate. They give them 12. That gives them 12 years. And at that point, you've got the House. Give them 6 terms. That puts them at 12. Everybody's out at 12 years. Period. Dot the end. If they can make it that long, they're out.
Yeah. And after 6 years, they still got to show something to get that reelection.
Exactly. Well, that's every 2 years for the House, but
Okay. Yeah, that's right.
That's true. That's true. Well, I mean, in that note, and correct me if I'm wrong, you're not supposed to basically quit your job because you're a politician now and that you were elected. You're supposed to still have a job. You're supposed to still, it's supposed to be just like in the Constitution in those days, they set it up to come and serve your country in that way. And then you go back home. You go back home to work. So this is not supposed to be a career move necessarily.
True. It shouldn't be.
So, and in the state House and Senate, it's pretty much you're able to do that in a lot of cases. But the nation is large enough to where it makes it extremely difficult to be able to have a job back home and serve as House or Senate.
That's true.
But no, I agree with you. I mean, when the founding fathers first set this thing up, the country was much, much smaller, and they were able to do that.
Yeah.
But with the size of the nation right now, and
well, the size of the nation, you've got some other people that can go in after you, giving fresh ideas,
right.
So term limits.
Yeah.
With you on that, brother. We got Kenneth keeps hitting us with some good ones too, man. Benny blames race for the water treatment plant demise. What do you blame it on, and how would you change it?
The water treatment, the water treatment has been an issue for decades. Yeah. It's not been any recent issue. Now I think that the $90 million that Jackson had that was earmarked for the water and sewer treatment facilities that got redirected to other projects per the mayor of Jackson, that was a incompetent move. They should have upgraded and made the repairs to that water system as quickly as possible, especially if it was in as dire need as it was. So you had $90 million that was just up and disappeared.
How can you make it a race thing though to get to how he's saying? What?
Right.
How would it be
that's Benny?
Race thing?
But that you have to understand. You have to understand. Anytime you listen to Benny talk, it's always division. It's either division by party or division by race. But with Benny, it's always division. He's wanting to point to the governor because he's not getting his way. He's wanting to point, him and the mayor are pointing to the governor. I'm like, look, the governor is holding the money right now just because you guys were incompetent in spending it in the first place.
For decades.
But if you really want to look at who's really to blame on this one, look at Benny Thompson. The water treatment facility went in the exact same year that Benny took office for the very first time.
I did not know that.
So you really want to look at who's to blame? You've had countless mayors that have been in there. You've had countless members of the city council that have been in there. You've had countless governors, House, Senate. Everybody has done a complete turnover several times over. Benny's the only one that is the only common denominator here. So you really want to put the blame somewhere? We can put the blame somewhere, and we can point it straight back to Benny.
I'm gonna use his own words, and he said this in an interview pretty recently, but there's no substitution for being in charge. And that is Benny's own words, man. So he needs to watch what he's saying out there. And man, Brian, this has been great.
It really
This has been great. We've got a great feedback. Love it. We've got a large audience out there that really got to hear from you tonight. And I just appreciate you coming in here and just sharing yourself, sharing your ideas.
Absolutely.
It's been 100%.
And that's the one thing I want to express is I want to be as transparent as possible. And that's something that we have not had in many, many, many years here in the state and at multiple levels, whether it's local, state, or federal. We have not had true transparency from a lot of our politicians. Now, there are some out there that are.
Yeah.
Chris McDaniel being one of them. And there's other members of the Freedom Caucus that are very transparent. But, as far as federally goes, it's been almost 30 years, and we've had somebody in there that wants to duck and weave and avoid the confrontation.
Turned you down on a debate.
Yep, turned me down on a debate.
Yeah.
But I want to make sure that I am upfront and open with the people of District 2, and that's something that when I get in is I want to do everything I can to make sure that I have a town hall once every 6-7 months.
Yes.
Come home, host a town hall in person, not virtual. Nothing against you guys. You guys have been great.
Hey, we'll be in person with you.
Yeah, exactly.
That's right.
But hold a town hall and pick a different spot in the district. If you can't make this one, next time I come back home to hold a town hall, it's going to be in another part. You may be able to make that one. But I want to be able to hear from the people that I'm representing. How am I doing to represent you? Is there changes that you want to see from me? Because I serve the people. It's not the other way around.
That's right.
I work for the people.
Yeah.
So, and that's what this is. That's this town hall, this whole campaign has been nothing more than a job interview. It's been a giant job interview. I'm putting myself out there. This is what I have. These are the ideas that I have. And, let me know, once I get in office, let me know how I'm doing.
That's it.
Because I should be held accountable to the voters.
And it starts with getting you in office. So I'm hoping that, everybody's listening, man. Get a friend and go with them to the voting booth, man.
So the day, is November 8th. So that's next Tuesday. And if you are voting for Brian and you're voting red, us voting red all the way, let's do a wear red if you're voting red. We want to see if, we can kind of almost tell how many votes we have, just by what you're wearing. So Tuesday, wear red, because I know I will be. And guys, let me let you know that you still can go to flowersforcongress.com. You can go to donate because it definitely helps push this message along. Even right now, $1, $10, whatever you have does help.
That's right.
So if you can go to flowers.com and go to the donate screen. Also, he has some great videos that will update you on his ideas and what he's planning to do that can answer some of these questions that we were talking about. So I would go to Brian Flowers for Congress YouTube page. Go and watch those videos because they are very informative. They're very actually nice to watch. This whole state, not just District 2, but we need someone like Brian in there, and you guys know why. So please go check out his website, and thank you guys for being here. Thank you, Mr. Flowers, for being here.
Always a pleasure. And real quick, I just want to make sure that let everybody know. Also, stay actively engaged on Facebook, Twitter. Things like that, because we're constantly updating different messages, different posts, things like that. So, and feel free to make a comment, and let us know what your thoughts are, and we'll go from there. But I want to make sure that everybody that stays engaged on Facebook. Let us know when you vote. Hey, get on there. Hey, I voted, and be proud about it.
And I'm telling you, he reads them. He is really one of the most transparent person that is running that I've ever even encountered. So, I mean, if you have a question, most of the time he's going to answer.
Yeah, it's going to be him. It's going to be him answering back. Yeah. It's not going to be some team going, "Oh, this is what you need to say." Brian speaks what he says from the heart, man. I've known this man. You know, it's been a joy to get to know Mr. Brian Flowers this year.
Yes.
And
can't wait.
Yeah, man. So, and I just want to say one more time, man, everybody just put $1 in the donate. We want one more media push for this guy to get the voice out. So, you know, I'm not trying to sit here, but y'all donate to this cause. You know,
it's a good cause.
It's one more media push. We only got 2 days. We want to get some ads out there, and that stuff is not free. So,
and tell your friends, remind your friends, because they really do forget.
Go vote.
And family. All right, bye, you guys. We're going to let you guys go. Thank you so much for tuning in, and we will see you later.
Thanks for everybody for coming on.